Kerete opantes. Okay, it is Cousin Leonid here. I know I haven't talked to you for a while, but here we have a little bit more reading of some Koine Greek. And I thought, from the Christmas theme, which is what we might be expected to do, why don't we have a look at the first part of the two great commandments? So let's have a look at this. So we've here got an icon of Mark. So this comes from Mark 29, so you can look that up yourself. And we might finish, so I'll do a series on Mark 12, but we might finish having a look at the structure of Mark 12, and yeah, we'll have a look at that in a moment. So let's have a look at the piece of Greek we're going to look at. So just talking about the accentation that I used to actually read this out, this is not the accentation of modern Greek. It's not even the accentation of church Greek. Okay, I suppose it's closer to the accentation of classical Greek, which is neither correct nor incorrect as far as we're concerned. If we're doing it on the basis of the way that Church Greek is pronounced, then I suppose it's incorrect, but let's have a look. So the verse that we've got, apekrite ho Jesus, we know that word, hoti prote esti akue Israel, kurios hoteos hemon kurios hes esti. Okay, so let's have a look at that. And there's quite a bit that we can get through that we recognize already. We recognize that word ho Jesus. Okay, notice that unlike in modern Greek where it would just be o, okay, we've got the rough breathing there, so we've got ho. Okay, and we've got the mark for a rough or a smooth breathing. So we've got Jesus. Okay, ho Jesus, Jesus. So we have a definite article where we wouldn't expect it to in English. We might expect it to in German. Okay, but we definitely don't in English. So it's literally the Jesus. Jesus. Okay, and we have apekrithe. That's our verb there. And the form there, I know we did a couple of videos on the uses of the aorist. That is actually an aorist passive. So it's an aorist passive. So what we've got is apo. Okay, so that's the preposition which means from. Okay, and we've got krithe, which comes from. Okay, the verb is actually apokrinomai, but we'll find it in biblical dictionaries as the aorist passive of apokrinor, which is reasonably unhelpful. Let's have a look at that. So we've got apokrinomai means to answer, and that form apokrinomai in classical Greek it would be middle, I suppose, and here it's being used as a passive form because, well, many Greek textbooks, Koine Greek textbooks, tell us that there is a middle, but the only form of the middle that we really get is in deponent verbs. So a deponent verb is a form of a verb which has lost its active forms. Okay, and apokrinor may exist, but we basically get it mainly as apokrinomai. So that is answer. So the ape, notice the o from apo changes to e. So the omicron changes to an epsilon. And that just tells us it is past tense. Okay, so if you have that epsilon at the beginning of a verb, okay, then it is changing it into a past tense. If it lengthens the vowel at the beginning of a verb, like oike or something like that, to live, then it changes it. It lengthens the vowel and it changes it into the past instead. So we got apokrithe ho Jesus. We got Jesus answered. Okay, so we got no worries there. Jesus answered that the first commandment is Okay, and then we have a direct quote. So if you have a copy of the Greek New Testament, many of the Greek New Testaments have this following bit in bold. So we got Akue Israel, Kurios Horteos, Hemon, Kurios, Heis, Estin. That's not ace, that's Heis. Okay, so let's go through that. So we first of all got a command, and we might do a separate video on the commands, which are the imperatives. You can have a command which is in the singular. You can have a command which is in the plural. This is in the singular, and we have the next word explains why it is. Obviously, it's a command for lots of people, but we have it here specifically. So we got listen, akue, and we got, okay, that word looks familiar to us, Israel. Okay, so in classical Greek, and for that matter in Latin, many Hebrew names do not decline, which means that they do not have different endings. So we could say that the original form of Jesus is Joshua, but they've changed it into a form in the Greek and in the Latin that can be declined, which means that you can have different endings in the Latin or the Greek. So we've got Israel. So listen, O Israel. So that is really talking about, well, obviously, so many Christians will take it to be referring to them as well, because I think that this um, this recommendation is for everyone that follows Jesus. But we have Israel, so we have the followers at the time. Listen, O Israel. Okay, we have kurios. We'll mention that word in a moment. Hoteos, that might be a word we recognize. So we got hoteos is God. Okay, and it's not, well, it can be any God, but we'll have in a Christian sense or a Jewish sense is going to be the God. Okay, so we got hoteos kurios, we got the Lord our God. So we got hemon, that is genitive, that is of us. So when you have the genitive, it's talking about possession. So we would see in many translations we would have the Lord our God. Okay, kurios heis estin, we have is one Lord. And this kind of goes back to an antecedent from, I think, Deuteronomy, where it says a similar kind of thing. It says, listen, O Israel, okay, the Lord your God, or Lord our God is one. So there is only one God. Okay, so we might just stop there for today. Stop there for now, and in our next video we will go through, well, one of the commandments. We might slow things down rather than have a really long video. But until then, okay, we might stop. So I will say, farewell. Okay.